Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Smurfy and I'm really excited to show you guys today's list. We are playing Domain Zoo, but not the typical Meta Zoo deck that everyone has been playing. But instead we are playing a super low to the ground, lean version of the deck that's trying to get your opponent dead on turn 3. If you're a long-term supporter of the channel, then you will have already seen this deck in action. And the deck is just absolutely nuts. So the plan of the game is basically play your zoo creatures as normal. You got your Ragavans and your Nakatls, but then there's also this random little Geist of St. Traff chilling in the main deck. So we've got 2 of these in the main, and the reason that we're playing these is because we're playing 7 Might of Alara FX, which is essentially a 1 mana +5/+5 spell. So you give a creature +5/+5 for 1 mana, you then use a Team of Battle Rage on it, and all of a sudden your Kavu that was a 5/5 becomes a 10/10 with double strike, and you just one-shot your opponent. That is basically the deck. You can cheese your opponent out of so many wins just because they tap out and you just one-shot them out of nowhere. The Geists are in there just in case your opponent has a lot of removal. You got things like Scam, Mono Black all floating around, 5-color beans with all the Solitudes and stuff. So Geist is kind of just like a safer way to do it. But yeah, that's basically just the deck. It's you deal your opponent chunks of damage in counts of 5. So you got Gaia's Might, Team of Battle Rage, 5 power creatures, and Tribal Flames. So yeah, super straightforward main deck. It's very lean. You can get a lot more turn 3 kills than you might think. And then over in the sideboard, we've got 2 more Geists because some matchups, if they can't remove your creature, you will just get them. You've got 2 Leyline of Sanctity for burn and things like that. 2 Stubborn Denial if you need it for the interaction on spells, non-creature spells. 4 Leyline Binding is to answer anything that's a non-land permanent at this point. Binding is just like the best removal printed in Modern at the moment. And then a Plains is for the Blood Moon. 3 Force of Vigor. In some of the videos you'll see that I play only 1, but I have moved it up to 3, and 3 is much better. You need Force of Vigor, it answers Blood Moon. This deck dies horrendously to Blood Moon, so yeah, 3 Force of Vigor, I would suggest not running without those. But yeah, that is the deck. It is super sweet. You're going to see some really quick kills in the deck. The league I ran first, spoiler alert, I went 4-1. I only dropped 1 game. I can't remember what it was to, but you guys will see in the gameplay some really sweet kills against our opponents. If you enjoy this content and you want to see more wacky zoo decks, then make sure to subscribe. I do also play some tier 1 decks as well, but today I just really wanted to play Pump and Dump Zoo. That's the name I've always called it. It's just Pump and Dump. There is no official name for it because I think I'm the only person that ever plays it. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, like the video if you like the deck, and let's get into some gameplay. All right, what we got here? Yeah, this hand looks great. We'll go ahead and keep. Xander's Lounge is a little bit annoying. It may make our Geist not a turn 3 Geist, but yeah, this hand looks great. In what world are we living where we're playing a Wild Nakatl and a Geist of St. Traff in Modern? Where we're not even just playing 2 or 1. We're playing 4 Nakatl and like what? How many of these? How many Geists are we playing? We're playing 4 Geist, 4 Nakatl. We are ready to go. Just wait for our opponent to get ready. I think, oh, did not mean to do that. Oh, here we go. All right. I think we're just going to lead off with the Rags. When in doubt, you play Ragavan on turn 1, right? There's only so wrong you can be. Sometimes you just cast a Ragavan and it wins you the game. Like if this Ragavan manages to hit our opponent, next turn we can go Kavu and Nakatl, which is just absolutely insane. Wow, opponent just goes turn 1 Fury, no land, so they're not scamming it. No messing around. What did they pitch? Violent Outburst. Okay, so we're against Rhinos or Living End. And we'll go back to our turn. Okay, I guess we lead off with a Breeding Pool here. Go ahead and play a 4/4. As our opponent is already Furied, I'm much less concerned about this getting Furied. It'd be quite unfortunate if our opponent had another Fury. Normally you want to keep a Kavu to make it a 5/5 to survive Fury, but I'm feeling confident that our opponent does not have another Fury. That could be very, very misplaced confidence. And it looks like we're against a Living End because they've got the Generous End. They go ahead and play a Breeding Pool tapped, and they pass the turn. So at this point, we obviously know what we're against. I think you kind of have two options with the Carver. You can start looting stuff away and try and put loads of creatures in the graveyard. Alternatively, you can just try and exile their stuff. I think both are fine options. But we're going to make them have to have it on curve. And I guess we go for get rid of this Fury and try and keep our opponent's Living Ends not too backbreaking. Obviously, killing two of our creatures is very, very bad for us. The other option is to just like throw our creatures in the graveyard with the Karvu and then make them bring back our creatures too. But when they've got a Fury, that just doesn't seem very beneficial, right? Okay, there's the third land. They've already pitched a Cascader, so I assume they have another one here. They're going to get a Street Wraith and a Generous Ent. Can we beat a Street Wraith and a Generous Ent? What have we got on a sideboard for this matchup? Not a whole lot. 2 Stubborn Denials, and that's about it. And is this a Shardless Agent? No, it's an Outburst. Sure. Doing it whilst we're tapped out. Very well played by our opponent. Not running into a Stubborn Denial. Alright, you get a food token. You got a Street Wraith. This is going to be tough to beat, but a Team of Battle Rage and a couple of Might Alaris can punch through most battlefields. So let's just go play the Foothills. White, blue, whatever. Play Geist. Yeah, I think we're just going to hope that we draw a Team of Battle Rage, 2 Might of Alaris, and just like one-shot them. Because we're going to be taking a lot of damage here. Or our opponent just passes the turn. Not what I was expecting. At this point, we're happy to cycle the Triumph, so we'll just go for a Temple Garden. And untap. Tribal Flames off the top. They've got a food, so this isn't hugely relevant for going face. I think we kind of just want to kill the Street Wraith in case they start swinging at us with it. Well, I think we might as well just keep flooding the board. I don't see too much of a punishment. If they want a Living End, we still get back a Draco and a Karvu. And I think we are going to just pass the turn. I'd like to keep this the Tribal Flames to go face. But we'll have to see how the game goes. Maybe we need to use it to kill a Street Wraith because it is currently unblockable due to Swamp Cycling. And being a domain deck, we are going to enable that pretty much every game. Unless something goes horribly wrong. Oh, they're just getting in now. Sure. So I guess we just jump with Ragavan. Because this doesn't have trample. We'll take the 3, and then I think next time we're just going to Tribal Flames and get rid of this. They just play an Otawara, and what else have they got? Oh, they're just hardcasting a 4/4. Okay, step 1 is find a guy of Might of Alara. We need to buy some time, so let's just go ahead and shoot the Curator of Mysteries. And they only have 8, 9, 10 with a Violent Outburst. So we're not dead on board. So I think we're just going to get in 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, we are 1 damage short from killing our opponent here. Make sure I am right. 4, 9, 12, 14. Yeah. Very unfortunate though. Our opponent managed to be on a virtual 1. But I think that's still fine. Like, we can still just kill our opponent next turn. I don't know if they're going to want to start swinging. Just with the Street Wraith. You got it. Well, obviously we can't do anything about it. we're going to go down to 8 here. And I think we might as well just crack this fetch at this point. Get the Steam Vents, sure. We draw Stubborn Denial. That's fine, I guess. I think that means we should just be able to win here. I can't see what could go too wrong. I guess if the Might of Alara doesn't resolve and they try and board wipe. Well, we're just going to have to go for it, I think. What could they have? Surely they don't play 2-0 Alara. See what our opponent wants to do with blocks. Assume block the Angel. No, they're going for the Geist. Maybe not. Your dude's got Trample. No, not Trample. Reach. All right, here we go. Process of elimination. Our opponent has finally concluded the optimal blocks. Let's just go ahead and Might of Alara, and fingers crossed, our opponent does not have some interaction for this. Force of Negation. Well, that sucks. That is 1 mana up for them. Oh no, we have Ferocious now because of the Angel. How wonderful is that? Awesome. Yeah, completely missed the Angel, making our Ferocious enabled. And on to sideboarding. So in this matchup, we don't really have too much. We have 2 Stubborn Denials, which are fantastic in this matchup. And that's kind of it. I guess you can use like Leyline Binding to answer their threats. But I think generally we need to just be the proactive one. Cards in this matchup which aren't good. None. I think the whole deck is great against Living End. Well, we need to make some cuts. I like the Trample. I guess we can try my Gaia's Might, and is Geist just too slow? I think Geist might be too slow. Let's try that. I know Geist just won us that game, but 3-drop on the draw against Living End, it doesn't seem great. So we're going to go ahead and try that. I guess we could have also tried Leyline of Sanctity if we are scared of Grief, but I don't think we're that scared of Grief. I'm not sure if our opponent has any idea what we're doing. I would assume not. All right, here we go. Maybe our opponent can resolve a little bit more of an impactful Living End this time. Oh, and we've got the combo in hand. Okay, so this is the turn 3 kill, assuming our opponent can't interact with it. And we're living in Magical Christmas Land, and we're going to assume that they don't have any interaction. Starting off good. Street Wraith straight away. Sure. Mountain Cycle and Oliphant. And I think we are just going to go Wooded Foothills and Breeding Pool into Sacred Foundry seems good to me. The last RCQ I went to, which was just this weekend, it was actually won by Living End. And there was also another copy in the top 8 as well. So apparently Living End is on the rise. Opponent is just churning through their deck. Sign of Draco. Hopefully we won't even have to cast that this game. So we'll go get red-white. That will make Arna Cattle nice and big. And we'll just play the Brawler out. It really doesn't make a difference what speed we do things at. Now, if our opponent does have the turn 3, that's going to be very, very unfortunate for us. But we do have a Draco to lead up, follow up with. And again, we only really need to connect once unless they have a counter spell. Okay, so that is Boseiju does mean they can now use any Cascader, so that might be a Violent Outburst here. Is there any reason not to shock? 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we are dead if they have Violent Outburst. Well, I'm going to assume they have it, but if they don't, then I think we win anyway. But if they do, I don't think there's anything we can do against that board anyway. What have you got, opponent? Show me the outburst and we can go to game 3. Yeah, there it is. And the living end, yeah. There's nothing we could have done. End of turn, they can just bring back everything and we're dead in one combat. But that's all good. We get to go back on the play. Does anything change? Maybe we want Geist back. I don't think we do, though. Geist is generally there to make your attacks more stable, not to be quicker. And in this matchup, we just want to be quicker. And this hand is pretty quick. So we got turn 2, 5/5. We'll go ahead and keep. In fact, turn 2, Kavu. Turn 3, pump it. That's 5, 10, 15. So a Street Wraith and a couple of shocks. And they could just be dead on turn 3 here. And obviously a Team of Battle Rage is just lethal again. That's always what we want to draw. We just want to draw Might of Alaris, Team of Battle Rage, and a creature that doesn't die. A Stubborn Denial doesn't hurt. Where is it? We are running a different mana base to what I thought for some reason. So the Sacred Foundry gets paired with... I thought we were playing the Grixis one. No, not the Grixis, the Sultai one. Well, if we're going to have to double up red, white, we need to get green, and this gives us everything but blue. Sure. Maybe we'll draw a fetch. Okay, we just draw a fetch. It's all good. So the one that goes with this is a Steam Vents. And it is important to go get this instead of using the Sacred Foundry, because otherwise Kavu would die to a Fury. So yeah, make sure that you can make your Kavu a 5/5 if possible. If not, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But if possible, get out of Fury range. That's where we want to be. That's it, opponent. Fetching and shocking and cycling. We just need them to shock one more time, and and we've got lethal in hand. A Team of Battle Rage or a Might of Alara off the top is lethal, and they've evoked a Fury. Are they double evoking Fury? What's going on here? You got it, opponent? Yeah, we are getting double Furied here. Super unlucky that they had red card, Fury, and a usable mana base. That is absolutely insane. And they play out land tapped. Sure. Stubborn Denial off the top would be perfect. No, that's fine though. I guess we just play the Brawler here. And play the Flooded Strand. And pass the turn back to our opponent. So the fact they had double Fury, to me, suggests they might just not have Living End. Like a hand with double Fury is keepable without it. And they're just passing the turn back. Alright. Well, we're a bit constrained on our mana, so I'm just going to go get the other Trime, I think. No, we might need double green. So we'll go with a Breeding Pool. And we draw another Brawler. Alright, well, I guess we just go for it. And I mean, they probably have it, right? They can deal 8 damage between both Furies, so we can keep our other Kavu alive. Let's just see what they do. Okay, they just take the 5, and then I'm pretty sure what we just want to do is play another one. Preferably with the correct mana. Now, they'll probably end of turn Living End anyway. And then we can use a Might of Alara, keep our Kavu alive, because this will do 8 damage. They don't have it. Okay. Maybe they just think they've got time, so they'd rather just build up more in the graveyard. Or they just don't have it. They might just not have it. Alright, well, there's a Ragavan, and I think I forgot to play the land last turn, but hopefully that won't matter. So we can just dash Ragavan, and that's presenting lethal. Just trying to make sure there's no way that we can screw ourselves with the mana. I guess it's like that. Then dash. So this way we're making them have the Living End here. Oh, they choose to Subtlety, and they've only got 1 card left. So I am going to assume that means that they don't have anything. That would be very, very unfortunate. Yeah, we'll stick Ragavan on the bottom. That would be very unfortunate. Oh no, they probably do, right? Because they... Alright, well, let's find out. I guess we're better off using... No, it makes no difference. If they've got a counterspell for Tribal Flames, then that's fine. Oh, what have they got? Oh, sure. Do they have a counterspell? They don't. There we go. Pump and Dump Zoo taking down Living End, which is obviously like a tier 1 or tier 2 deck. So that's really, really sweet to see. Oh, would you look at that? A Wild Nakatu, a Territorial Kavu, and a Stubborn Denial. I think that's about pretty much all we really ever ask for in an opening hand. This is all great. We'll go ahead and keep all this. Opponent leads off with a Saga. So is this Amulet maybe? Let's just go lead off with a Wild Nakatu. We'll go get Temple Garden and we'll pair that with Steam Vents. And we'll probably find out what our opponent is on, judging by their next land. Okay, so we are against Amulet. We are going to need to be very, very quick if we're going to be against Amulet, especially as they've got a Saga on the play. That is very, very scary to play against. So we need to pair this with the Steam Vents. And I should have used the Flooded Strand there. Because the Arid Mesa could have got the Blood Crypt for next turn. But that is fine. Let's go red and green. Play the Kavu. And we'll swing in for 3. Get the beats going. But yeah, we're going to have to get a very fortunate Stubborn Denial, I think, at some point to be able to race Amulet. Amulet is super, super fast. It's like a turn quicker than Zoo normally. And Urza's Saga is just such a powerful leading play. Alright, so they float mana, go get their Amulet. What have you got? Have they got the bounce land? Don't tell me they've got another Amulet. Okay, no, it's just a bounce land. So they're going to bounce the west here. And hopefully they don't have an Azusa, because Azusa is going to be... Okay, they've got a ring. That's pretty good. They go ahead and draw a card. There was no way that we could have kept up Stubborn Denial that turn. That was just wasn't going to happen. we'll go ahead and play the Flooded Strand. And I guess we just start swinging. We'll go ahead and ditch this Geisler Saint Draft. It's just too slow in this matchup. Can this even get anything? Do we have a breeding pool in our deck? I can never remember which lands we play. In different videos, I'll play different land bases. We're going to play a Kavu, and we're at least going to bluff that we might have a blue source. I don't know if we do. We will find out. Okay, opponent's got 9 cards in hand. It's very likely that we are just dead here. Let's just go and have a real quick look at our mana base. Yeah, we do have a breeding pool. Alright, we should be fine. We can counter one thing. So if our opponent has to like summon his pact here or something. Forest into Dryad here, I expect. Yeah, sure. Can't do anything about that. Synth Gardens. And pass the turn. Okay, that's pretty good for us. We're just missing black. Is there any reason we want to get anything else? I guess we want something with blue mana. We'll go for Xander's Lounge. And how much damage can we do? So if we swing with both Kavus, we're going to get to loot as well. Maybe we find a Gaia's Might and we can get them dead this turn. We'll try. So I guess we just swing with everything, see what we find, and go from there. Obviously, we'll loot with both. There's no reason to exile any graveyards. First time, we'll ditch a land. Okay, Ragavand's not needed right now. We'll ditch that again, and we find a land. Okay, ended up back where we were. We're currently swinging for 5, 10, 13. So our opponent is just jump blocking, which is great for us. We could have got in like an extra 2 damage there if we had played the Draco, but I think I would have rather just playing that we could have drawn a Battle Rage and a Pump Spell or something. So let's just go red, green. Play another Draco, sorry, another Kavu, and now our opponent basically has to kill us. Or play another ring, but if they play another ring, they're going to have a bad time. Alright, opponent, you got 10 cards in hand. It cannot be that hard to string a win together with 10 cards in hand and an Amulet in play. You got this. I believe in you. I assume they're going to need to start by copying this Amulet of Vigor with their gardens. I assume this is like one of the earlier times they've played, one of the first times they've played Amulet, because they seem to be taking a long time with 10 cards in their hand. Generally, the Amulet combos are pretty straightforward when you've got 10 cards in hand and double Amulet Vigor. So they must either have a very weird hand or they just are new to the deck. And if you're new, it can be a very overwhelming deck. It's complicated. Somehow we've managed to keep up with our opponent with going through our deck, so we're both on 43 cards left. I guess we have fetched 3 times, but we've also looted like 3 or 4 times. Okay, opponent is very much in the tank. They play in a Teleria West, sure. And they play another ring. Yeah, that is not going to do it. You're going to need to come up with more than a ring on that turn. There we go. All right, onto sideboarding. We are very fortunate that we now have 3 Amulet of Vigors. I've added in some more. And I think we want bindings as well. I guess we don't need the planes because they're not going to be blood mooning us. And we probably want Stubborn Denial as well. I think we just want all of the interaction. We don't need Geist. It's way too slow. And we need to cut some more cards. guess Tribal Flames is probably the weakest out of all of the non-creature spells. It does deal 5, but it's quite slow, whereas the Gaia's Mites and things have really good combo potential. And we don't really want to cut green cards because we've got the Force of Vigors. So I think we're going to have to cut... so we just cut Ragavan because of... They've just got so many blockers. Let's go ahead and try that. So our opponent gets to go on the play this time, but we do get Force of Vigors. I would very much like for their opponent to go turn 1, Saga into Amulet, and for us to get to blow it up. Just, I think that would be pretty funny. But other than that, I think this matchup generally just goes the same as game 1. I don't think they have too much to sideboard in this matchup. They may bring in some Dismembers, but I think that's about it. No interaction in this hand. Just some big old boys. Do we keep that? We're on the draw. I think we can afford to mulligan once. And yeah, this hand I think is much better. We'll go ahead and keep. We need to put a card back. I guess this Sign of Draco, we are very far away from casting it. So let's go ahead and... But then we just don't have a clock. Is it Gaia's Might? No, we'll put the Sign of Draco back. We can go turn 1, Wild Nakato, and then Force of Vigor, whatever they're up to. We get Stubborn Denial and stuff. Sure. Amulet of Vigor by our opponent. The question is, do we blow it up now, or do we wait for something else as well? I think we can afford to wait. And we've drawn another land, so that Draco would have been castable now, but that's fine. We'll just lead off with a Temple Garden and a Wild Nakato. I think we're fine letting our opponent have their turn 2 with the Amulet of Vigor in play. The worst thing they can really do is like play a Dryad, but we can then just blow that up as well. So that would actually be really ideal if they play a Dryad here as well. Okay, so it is a slow opening from our opponent. They've got at least one other bounce land in hand, because what they've done is they've floated a green and then they're going to bounce the forest. Sure. And really hoping they play a Dryad here. Perfect. So let's go ahead and target their creature and their Vigor. Blow them both up. And we're feeling pretty good now, I think. And we draw a great creature, so that's perfect. We'll go ahead and... I guess we go get a Steam Vents straight away. Well, it needs to be red. It doesn't have to be a Steam Vents. Yeah, we'll go for Steam Vents. Our Brawler will be a 5 power dude when we go to attack, because we've got the Blood Crypt for next turn. And we will also have a Stubborn Denial ready as well. Hopefully the 0 mana 2 for 2 has bought us enough tempo where our opponent doesn't have much else to do. And they've got a ring by the look of it. Of course they do. So the best thing we can really find here, I think, is a Leyline Binding. Which we do not, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and play the Blood Crypt tapped. We will attack to assert dominance and pass the turn. So opponent is still on 16 life. They are going to be drawing a lot of cards here. Hopefully, again, they'll try and replace their ring and we can just counter that and maybe they die to their own ring damage. We'll have to wait and see. Just trying to think if there's any way that we can kill them next turn. I don't think there's anything off the top. Like, obviously, Team About Our Age is good. That means we can get him for 13. Then they take 2 from the ring, so they'd still be on 1 life. Opponent plays an Urza Saga, sure. And another ring. Yeah, let's go ahead and counter that. I don't think we really want them to keep using the rings for protection. They go ahead and play an Arboreal Grazer. That's fine. It's basically just gain 3 life. What are they bouncing here? Is that the forest? That was a forest. Okay, that's fine. We drew another Stubborn Denial, which is actually a really good draw. Again, like, we're just scared of like rings, Summoner's Pact. They could still have like a prime time, but they don't have an Amulet Vigor in place, so it's not the end of the world. And we could have played a land there. That was my mistake. I could have shocked and put Gigantha in our hand, but I don't think we really care about putting Gigantha in our hand. I don't think we're ever getting the chance to do that. Because that would mean we'd have to draw another land and for our opponent to not combo off and kill us with 8 cards in hand. What have they got here? That's a lot of mana. Is that a... Oh, it's just a prime time. Alright, well, we can't Stubborn Denial a prime time, sadly. They're going to get a bounce land and a Teleria West here, I would assume. Opponent's having a little think on what the best line is. Maybe they go for like a Valakut and a Valakut or something and try and find the Dryad. Who knows what they got in hand. 7 cards, they're going to go up to even more next turn. And we are now getting to the point where a Giant Growth effect, or not a Giant Growth, but actually, well, yeah, a Giant Growth would do it now, is just lethal. Because they are going to lose 3, so they're only actually at 6 because of their own ring. So yeah, just a pump spell will get our opponent dead next turn. They play a second Valakut. Okay, we are we are quite concerned about a Dryad at this point, and hopefully we draw a pump spell, which we do not. Is there anything we can do? I guess we play this tapped. Not really. If we attack with both, they block the Brawler, take 3 down to 6, take 3 from their ring. The thing is, we don't want to lose our Brawler because it's the only thing keeping this Stubborn Denial active. Alright, I guess we pass the turn. I think attacking with both doesn't really achieve anything because they survive from the ring. Maybe we just attack with the Nakatu and pretend we have a bolt. I think. Although they'd have to block if they thought we had a bolt anyway. So I guess that doesn't make a difference. Okay, so they float a mana with the Urza Saga trigger in the stack. I can only assume they're going to go get an Amulet of Vigor here, which they do. They copy it. And I mean, I think they've got it. Obviously, they've got to play around quite a few different things here. Because we could have Leyline Binding, we could have... I think that's about it, really, actually. Just Leyline Binding. Come on, opponent, you've got this. Just do your thing and you've got it. I think they're overthinking things here. $11 cards in hand. They've gone through almost half of their entire deck. There is a fair chance they've actually drawn their double striking land. But I guess if that's the case, they could just play it. Vesuva, sure. Okay, so they're playing Vesuva, bouncing, what are they going to bounce? I presume the Vesuva. Yeah, okay. So Vesuva back to hand. They've got 6 mana. They're just going to cast another Prime Time here. Summoner's Pact. That's fine. They still, I'm pretty sure all they need to do is just attack here. Oh my god, they've got a Cultivator Colossus. Alright, that'll do it. I'm not going to waste any more of either of our time here by making them play that out. We don't have the interaction. Let's just go to the next game. On the play, I think we want all of these brought in. And I think we take Draco's out. They've got Beseiju, so I don't really want to combo onto it. Maybe we just do that. Let's try that. Again, we just want to be really, really quick. With as much interaction as we can have, but not to the point where it slows us down too much. Oh, this hand is very dicey. We're going to go ahead and send that one back. I don't think we need to keep that. There we go. This hand is much better. We'll go ahead and keep... I think we'll just put the Sacred Foundry back. Yeah. Get the Temple Garden. Play our Wild Nakato. Next turn we can play our Kavu. Things are looking great. If we wanted to be a little bit less greedy, we could have put the Brawler back. And then... Oh wow, okay, they've got the Amulet of Vigor. Maybe maybe I'm glad we got a little bit greedy there. Another Wild Nakato. So we can go get a Triome and play a Cat, or we can fetch Shock and get the Kavu and play. I think we need to get the Kavu at this point. It adds a slight bit more power to the board, but more importantly, we get to loot every turn. And hopefully we can find an additional land, a Team of Battle Rage, or maybe even just a Force of Vigor to get the opponents to artifacts and enchantments. Like if we had a Force of Vigor here, I think we would just win the game. We get 2 draws. So we've got our draw step and the loot from the Kavu to try and find another one. And they've got a second Amulet here. Okay. What do we got? Leyline Binding. That is fine. Let's just swing and rummage. I think at this point we're going to discard the Brawler maybe. No, we'll get rid of the Cat. And we actually find the Force of Vigor. Okay, that's huge. So we hit our opponent for 7 here. And we're going to have to put a stop during their upkeep. And I think we just play the Brawler out. Or, no. I think we actually want to go Force of Vigor, blow up your land and your Amulet, and then binding the other one. And then Might of Valera is still lethal next turn. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and binding one of the Vigors now. And then during their upkeep, we'll do this so that they don't get to use their mana. Exiling a green card to target these 2. Ditching the Brawler. And I think this should just be game. Yeah, they just go ahead and concede. Awesome. Force of Vigor, absolute MVP. All you need is a really good clock and a little bit of disruption, but we happen to have a lot. Yeah, really happy with that. Managed to beat Amulet Titan, which is obviously one of the best decks, if not the best deck in Modern. So yeah, really good to see. Yeah, this hand looks great. We'll go ahead and keep. The Xander's Lounge Steam Vents hands aren't great, but we've got a 10-1 Ragavan. We can go fetch a Temple Garden if we want to. In fact, we can even turn to Draco. Oh, Are we going to get scammed here? It's only right that we play against Scam on the last round, right? Okay, so opponent is scamming a Fury here on turn 1. We do have 4 main deck Tribal Flames, which does just kill this on the spot. But we can actually race this. It's not very easy, but you can race a Scammed Fury. And that's one of the cards that we'll need to do so. So I think we're just going to go ahead and shock Ragavan. And if our opponent has a Bowmasters, well, then I guess we lose. A Bowmasters would be pretty rough here for us. Maybe they kept a 1-land hand. That's what it looks like. So they can Thoughtseize us. That's fine. We've got some pump spells. We've got some Dracos that we can't cast right now. Nothing crazy. Opponent goes ahead and takes the Guy's Might, which is interesting. And they're going to go ahead and swing with their Fury because that's all their game plan is here by the look of it, keeping a 1-land hand, and they've only got 2 cards left. If we could just find a Terminate off the top of our opponent's deck, that would be wonderful here. Come on, Terminate. Bowmasters. Well, that's good at blocking, so I guess we take that. Oh, this is awkward with our mana, actually. We can go ahead and get a Blood Crypt and cast this, and then we can keep up Stubborn Denial. No, we'd need to get a green source. We don't run Overgrown Tomb, or we couldn't fetch it anyway. It's a little bit awkward that we have to use this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward we have to use our treasure and that, but that's fine. This gives us a nice little blocker. If our opponent has another Fury, then they wrath our entire board, but there's not really anything we can do around that anyway. We'll just go face, ding our opponent for 1, and we'll go get the Abzan land so that next turn we can play the Draco. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do anything with the mana from our Xander's Lounge. That's a shame when you draw the Triomes in this deck, but it is what it is. And obviously we're going to go ahead and chump block here. This pesky Fury does not have Trample, so we'll happily throw an Orc under the bus. And they pass the turn back to us. So they're still stuck on 1 land. Very, very lucky for us. Well, I guess we just start swinging. Do we swing with both or just the Rags? I think we just swing with the Ragavan here. Hit our opponent and maybe find a Terminate. We don't. We find a Thoughtseize, which is very scary when... Okay, they just concede the game. Yeah, I don't think they really needed to concede there. I think they were still very easily in that game. But whatever. If they want to concede, they can concede. Okay, post sideboard, we bring in all of the bindings, the planes, both Geist of St. Drafts, and we cut Stubborn Denials and probably Guy's Might. I don't think we need as many pump spells. Oh no, well, we need to cut Ragavans because I don't know if you guys have played a Ragavan against a Bowmaster Fury deck, but it's not very fun. So we're going to go ahead and cut those. We can bring Leyline of Sanctity. It stops Grief. It stops Thoughtseize. It's not great, but it's fine. It's mainly for burn, but no, I don't think. Well, we can bring in the Force of Vigor. It hits Blood Moons, but also it hits Fables. So there's a lot of crossover because obviously they play 4 Fables. Generally, they'll play 2 to 3 Blood Moons post board. I guess we only need 3 Geists. 4 is probably overkill. Oh, I don't know. It is pretty good with Gaia's Mites and Team of Outrages. A 2-drop dying to Bolt and Fury is pretty grim. I guess Wild Knockout dies to Fury as well. Our whole deck just dies to Fury. We can cut a land because we've added a Plains. That seems fine. I'll go ahead and cut a Arid Mesa. And we've got 1 more card to cut if we want to play this Force of Vigor, which I think we do. We need answers to Blood Moon, right? 4 Binding and a Vigor should be enough. We're going to cut a Draco. The reason I'm going to go for Draco is because it's very hard to cast, and especially being on the play, our opponent being on the play, if they get a Blood Moon down, we can't cast it. It doesn't pitch to Force of Vigor, and it's generally just a little bit more awkward on the mana base, so I think we're fine trimming on one of those. This hand is fine. We'll go ahead and keep. It's certainly nothing special, but it's got a Geist. It's got an answer to a Fury. I think we take those. Are they going to turn 1 Furious again? No, just a Thoughtseize. Sure. The reason I don't like Leyline of Sanctity against the Fable decks, sorry, not Fable, against the Scam decks, is because they can just discard all of their Thoughtseizes and things like that to their Fable. And then it just kind of feels like you're down a card for not really a good reason. The opponent has gone and taken the Geist. They are terrified of the 2012 Magic we're playing over here. I don't know when Innistrad came out, actually. Oh, yeah, it probably was about 2012, right? Our opponent goes ahead and just concedes. Well, there you have it, guys. Pump and Dump Zoo is good enough to beat Scam if your opponent is tilted and they don't want to play Magic anymore. All right, so how the games went. We ended up going 4-1. I think the last round was very strange that our opponent just snap conceded. I guess they were a little bit tilted. But yeah, the deck performed pretty well. I can't really make any complaints. We are playing like what, 4, 7, 11 pump spells in our deck. And we had a blast. The deck is really, really sweet. If there are any changes I would make, I think the sideboard plan does need to be tweaked a little bit. Leyline of Sanctity is great against burn, but maybe we just need more diverse cards. So I was thinking maybe some more Force of Vigors. We do just lose to Blood Moon. And that is something we need to be aware of. And I don't think 4 Leyline of Binding and a Plains in our sideboard is good enough for that. So yeah, I think maybe some more Force of Vigors, maybe some Wear and Tears. But other than that, I think the deck is really, really sweet. The main deck, I honestly think, might just be perfect. This is a work of art. The sideboarding definitely could do with some tweaking. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see me play in the future, let me know. If it's Zoo in particular, then I'm much more likely to play it. But in fact, if someone makes a request, I generally will play the deck regardless of what it is. Yeah, if you want to see any more content, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.